Hello everyone and welcome back to another Minecraft video. For today's tutorial I'm going back to another tower, this time a magical mage tower. I'm making use of the new Deepslate blocks, mixing that in, contrasting it with some granite and some dripstone, adding in a few final details with amethyst, making it look very special and magic with the use of the end crystal at the very top. If you liked the video, be sure to go down and leave a like. And with that, let's get to it. Okay, flying in and taking a look at the dimensions of the build, you can take a screenshot here if you need to. It's worth noting that this is a diagonal build, as the front entrance will be right here and the build will face out this direction. It will have the four sides going to it, but the main entrance will be on the diagonal wall right here. Another thing to point out is I've created a gradient here that I'm going to be using for the walls. So I'm going to have a brown wool at the very bottom layers of the build, then transitioning into coarse dirt. A few layers of that before we get into the dripstone and a larger area of that, mixing in some of the granite, and as we get to the top we get to the polished granite. So that is the way the walls will be textured out. However, during the tutorial I will be just using it granite to build up the entire structure. That way we can get a sense of the shape and the dimensions for each one of the pillars going up, but the build will end up being textured out like that. So if you're doing in survival, I would suggest building it up with the texture as you go rather than going in and changing it at the end. Jumping straight into the build now, we're going to take this very end little corner section here and place one block, then the one behind that goes up by 3, then the one to the diagonal of that goes up by 5. Next to that, we go up by 7. Then beside that, we do another 7, another 5, another 3, and 1. Then we repeat this design on all of the 4 diagonal sides. Then come in, and in between the ones that go 5 high, want to place a temporary block with a block on top, and those blocks go 3 high, taking away that temporary block. Do the same on all 4 sides again. Then come on the inside and place a block behind the one we just done and have that come across by 3. Then we want this to be 16 high, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. We want to repeat that on all 4 sides and bring them all up 16 high. Once you have those going up, come on the inside with your temporary blocks again on the corners of the ones left and place your blocks on top and bring those all the way up to meet with the top ones that we just placed, and you should be left with a tower that looks something like this now. Now at the top of the tower that we just built up, bring your blocks 3 across this middle front section and 3 underneath, a single one and another single one. Then repeat that on all 4 sides again, so 3, 3, 1 and 1, 3, 3, 1 and 1, and finally 3, 3, 1 and 1. Then at the tops of those sections, bring the blocks up by another 4 blocks. And the same on each side. With a temporary block in the corners, and once again bringing those up by 4 blocks to meet at the very top, like so. So now we have your full tower, and if you textured it up as you went, then your tower will look a little bit different than mine. So let's add the texture. And there we go, texture is now complete. And as you see, as we mentioned before, we're keeping the brown wool and dirt at the bottom in smaller patches, with a larger grouping of the dripstone, and then finally a lot of granite mixed in with the polished granite at the top. So it makes for a nice bit of a gradient going up. Then we can take a granite wall, and on top of the 5 block high and the 7 block high at the bottoms, place in a wall. Then going up to the top, we want to place a granite wall on the bottom of each one of these exposed blocks all the way around. Next, we're going to add in some Deepslate supports to this tower on the 4 leg areas on these sides. So we're going to add in a Deepslate brick wall, 1 there, then have that come up by 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with a stair on top. At the very bottom, we want a slab in front of that. Then we want 1 wall on this section, 2 walls on the next, and 2 walls on the one above that. And that adds a nice bit of structure and difference in texture right there. We can also add in some cobbled Deepslate just to give that extra bit of texture to these legs. You want to follow the design on each one of these sticking out sections on the 4 sides. With those leg sections in place, it's time to add an entrance, and mine is going to go right on this section here. So we want to come in and land, and on the sections that go 5 high, we actually want to break away 4, so leaving the top one in place, and do the same right there as well. So we have this entranceway right here. Then take some deep slate tiles and bring those 4 down on the columns that we just broke away from the sides. Place an upside down deep slate tile stair, then an upside down stair on the second one facing out, and a deep slate tile wall on top of those. Then we're going to do a deep slate tile slab on top of those stairs and one full block right in the centre. Come on the inside and place a full block right behind those ones with walls coming all the way down. A temporary block with a full block in the corner, break that away. Come to this side and then fill these 2 gaps up with some slabs, and that's going to be our entranceway into the tower. Coming up about halfway on our tower, we're going to add an extra bit of detail and colour here. So take your deep slate tile stairs, and in line with the stairs at the top of this structure here, come in and place a regular stair there and there. Place an upside down stair on the bottom of those. Leave a block gap and upside down stairs with regular stairs on top of those. Then in the 3 blocks that is in the middle here, we're going to break those away and replace with amethyst blocks. And again, adding a nice bit of colour and magical texture to this build. You want to repeat this design on all 4 sides again. Moving up even further now, it's time to get to work on the top section of this tower here. So come to one of the sides and place a block right on the top middle here of deep slate bricks. Either side of that, we're going to do upside down stairs. Then we're going to do 3 full blocks across. Then we're actually going to do 5 blocks across, so sticking 1 out each end. Then another 3. Then 1 on top with regular stairs either side of that. So you should have this shape. We're going to repeat this on one of the other sides. Then the blocks sticking out, we're going to connect these up diagonal, so you need to use some temporary blocks and bring those across. So you have this shape. Come underneath and do the same thing, using temporary blocks to break away, and up top do it one more time. So you should be left with a band that runs right across like that. Then on the sections here, we're going to add in a deep slate wall going across like so. Once again, we're going to repeat this design going all the way around the entire tower. The last part of the structure of this tower is the large spikes that come from these areas on the roof. So on the blocks that we just placed, come in with deep slate tile walls and come down by 4 with a wall underneath of that. Come 1 block out from the top with 2 wall blocks underneath. This one goes up by 8, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. At the bottom of that, we leave a block empty, then place a wall block with 3 on top. And another wall block on top of those. On top of this, you place 2 wall blocks, with 3 full blocks coming off of that, with a wall on top of that, and another full block coming out, a wall underneath both of those, and on the very top, a deep slate stair facing inwards like so. Then back down to the middle where we have the 3 blocks sticking out the front, place 3 to the right and 3 to the left, then a wall in the very middle either side of those, and then this design repeats another 3 times on each one of these areas right here. For a little extra colour, come to the very centre of these spikes, in between these 2 walls, break that one away and place a amethyst block in the middle, then a medium amethyst bud on front of that. This adds a nice bit of colour and ties it in with what we have down there. Then what we want to do is take a amethyst cluster and place it on top of these 3 brick blocks on the top and on the bottom, again tying in that purple magic looking colour. You want to repeat that all the way around, and then it's time to add in a few final touches. Flying down and coming into the interior, find the very centre, break that away, and want to do this 3 deep and have this a 3x3 hole that is also 3 deep, so we have this cube shape in the centre. Then we want to take 3 blocks of iron and place that there, place a beacon on top with a purple stained glass on top of that. That should activate and give us a nice purple beam going through. Then what I'm going to do is take away all of these grass blocks and replace it with a mixture of polished blackstone and regular blackstone. Once you've done that, you can add in some black carpet around the place and cover up your little piece of glass there and spread a piece of black carpet randomly around, and there we go. We have it covered up, but we do have the nice beam coming up through the centre of the tower. Then flying all the way up to the very top, in line with where these gaps are, we want to place in a floor, and again we want to do a mixture of black stone and polished black stone. For the very centre block here, we're actually going to use a slab, that way the beam can pass right through, as if we use a full block it will cut that off. So make sure you do a top slab on the very centre block, and the rest just a mixture of our black stone blocks. Then our final piece of detail to finish off this tower here, we're going to place a temporary block right in the very centre of the tower and have that go 4 high. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then place an obsidian block on top of those. You can break those temporary blocks away. And this time we're going to use an end crystal on top of this obsidian, like so. And then you can actually break away the obsidian, just be very careful not to hit the hitbox of the end crystal. And there we go, our beacon beam will shoot up through the end crystal, and it looks like a magical item at the top of our mage tower. And there we go with that, the build is complete. As you can see, I've added in a lot of grass and leaves and things around the outside to settle it into the environment where it is. A little path leading up to the entranceway. At the bottom section I have tidied things up a little bit and added in some barrels, some chests, a water elevator that takes us all the way up the very top. Once we get to the top, we see a lot more life going on with enchanting tables, brewing stands, bookshelves, candles, all sorts of little details to sell that this is a tower home to a magical mage. But with that guys, that's going to do it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like down below, consider subscribing for more, and until the next one, bye bye.